Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast. I'm Ann Alvarez, parent coach, school counselor, and mother of two. Do you sometimes struggle with your parenting role? Do you notice that sometimes you're repeating patterns that you learned in your own childhood? Maybe you are carrying childhood pain that has not been healed, and you notice that it is showing up in your parenting with your own children. Perhaps you yell or get frustrated easily. Maybe you are directing them or telling them what to do all the time, and you notice that your actions are affecting your relationship with your children. Well, parents, I totally understand this. I came from childhood pain and I learned how to be a relational parent with my children. And I can teach this to you as well. This podcast is all about learning how to heal the childhood pain that we are carrying so that we can foster healthy relationships with our kids. Join us every week for a new show, and we will dive into the healing and the fostering of healthy relationships with our children. Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast and YouTube channel. Super excited today. We have a special guest, Bonnie and Thomas Liotta. They didn't just study parenting, they lived the transformation. When Bonnie met Thomas in 2011, she was a single mother with whose children had behavioral diagnosis. Within 6 months of implementing the methodology, her home was completely transformed. Now married and co-founders of Creating Champions for Life, they've helped thousands of children and more than 300 families who report a 90% behavioral transformation rate and 78 medication elimination rate. That's amazing. Welcome, Bonnie and Thomas. Thank you
Hi,
so much for
Ann.
joining us.
Oh, thank you for reaching out. I live to bless other moms with tools that will help them live in more peace and harmony and live their dream that they had about what life was going to be like as a mother, which isn't happening right now for a lot of people.
Yeah. There's a lot of struggle going on right now, right?
Yeah.
Um, okay, we're gonna help parents today.
Yeah.
Bonnie, you were a single mother whose own children had behavioral diagnosis before you met Thomas. Can you
Yes.
walk us through what your home looked like before versus after implementing the methodology, and what made you go from skeptic to co-founder of this movement?
Mm. Wow. So when I met Thomas, I had four kids from the ages of 6 to 12. They were all four being diagnosed with different things. My youngest son, the most severe case of oppositional defiant disorder and ADHD. My daughter had anxiety and would cry herself to sleep every night. Like it was always something, her leg or her teacher or her friends or something. It was horrific. And my oldest son, ADHD. My 11-year-old daughter just didn't talk to me. So you can imagine when Bonnie and her four kids showed up at McDonald's, the whole place knew we were there, right? It was total chaos and fighting and
Exactly.
demanding. And I was a personal development speaker, business leader, going all over the world, building this beautiful life for my kids. And then I was going home, this powerful, ambitious woman, this is embarrassing, crying on the floor in my bathroom in fetal position because my kids had overtaken my house. It was, I see that now that we work with hundreds of families, I'm seeing like how terrible is it that we are these successful people and these little kids are like forcing us into a shell. It's That's where I
Well,
was at.
yeah, you can be so good at your career, but
Yeah.
then when it comes to parenting, you can be so lost.
You know what I've found is the more parenting books you read today, the more engaged you are in this whole authoritative control, controversial, this person or that person, the worse off your kids are. Because what I have found after meeting Tom, and he literally took personal development and brought it into child rearing, and I'll let him share his own story.
Yes.
But when I found him and I realized that all of the leadership skills I had developed in my business life could have been brought into my parenting if somebody had given me permission to. But because I was reading like Kids Are Worth It by Barbara Coloroso or Magic 1, 2, 3, and I was learning that we should redirect, that we should correct behavior in the moment. From the
Hmm.
time they're 2, we're following them around, correcting their behavior in the moment with some sort of takeaway or lecture or punishment. It's not centered around success principles at all, what I found when it comes to
Wow.
parenting. It's all based on theory. It might work, this might work, try this medication. Oh, that didn't work, try this medication. But when I found Tom, I found he communicated with the children based on principles, the same principles that helped me go top 10 in the world in business. So that's why I could see the power of what he had. I was like, "You have a parenting philosophy. Did you know that?" And he's like, "Oh, we'll do something with it later, like when we're done all of our important work." And 6 months later, after I saw my house transform and my kids wake up with a new zest for life, and my house had gone from total chaos to total harmony, I was like, no, every parent in the world needs to know about this. And that was at the end of 2011. So we started to put together the principles between my, at the time, 20 years in personal development and Tom's 40 years of actually working with thousands of kids, also in personal development. And I'm like, we need to take what you taught in your classroom and we need to make it duplicatable for moms and dads. So that's been our work now for 14 years.
Wow, that is so, so amazing. So most parenting advice focuses on consequences, timeouts, behavioral management. But you two are saying that actually part of the breakdown, it's part of the breakdown of children's mental health.
Yeah.
Why is teaching parents to manage their children's behavior wrong? And what should they be doing instead? Maybe, Tom, you can tell us a little bit too about your story, how you came up with this methodology.
Yeah.
Well, just to answer that quick question, just what if what you're asking is parenting right now would be like putting the battery backwards in the remote, not knowing that it's backwards and blaming the remote.
Mhm.
Just the approach, just the way that they see their kids. Because you're either going to take your five senses, see, smell, taste, touch, and hear, those are all your inputs, and you're going to pick any one of them of something I don't like.
Yes.
And then you're in reactive mode. But if you could switch your ability, just like looking around the room from red to green, just look for the things that are green.
Wow.
And all I do is I see a little genius who's just embracing her own uniqueness, and they're playing the sacred game called monkey see, monkey do. And the adults have been trained not to see the FedEx arrow.
That speaks to me, Tom. That really speaks to me. Because I always tell that to parents that we have to find the good. What is the good? Find all the good that our kids are doing, right? Instead of
Yeah.
looking for what they're not doing or looking at what they're doing that you don't like.
Yeah, but you know what? When Tom first met me and he was like, find something good that they're doing and praise them for it. I'd go all day. I'd be like, I went all day and I couldn't find one good thing to praise them for. Like the day is crazy
Yeah.
because, like Tom was just saying, I was seeing my kids through the lens of I'm the parent, they're the child, I have rules, I need to maintain boundaries, and it was just constant chaos. But when I work with Tom and I see him with the kids, he validates everything. Oh, you just sneezed. Oh, I see you want to pour your own milk. Let me show you how. Like I can't even express how beautiful it is to speak to children when you can see them through the lens of what life skill is this little genius missing. When they go to touch the lamp cord, instead of redirecting, because it's dangerous and we need to protect them, but they want to learn about the lamp cord, they're going to learn about the lamp cord. So instead of redirecting them, why not show them like how to use what is obviously important to them in this moment in a safe way. So even when you turn your head, they will know they've already touched the lamp cord. They won't want to touch it again. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
totally.
Yeah.
It
So
totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we just start off with a basic question like WTF? A lot of people have different understandings of that, but what if we were to break it down to where's the focus? You
Yes.
see, energy flows where attention goes. You know, and I know that we all send our kids to a garden for kinder, better known as a kindergarten.
Yes.
So if you're going to interact with your kids and you had a choice, right? We're the ones that have free will out of all the animals in the animal kingdom, which means we can choose not to fly south for the winter for a bird or not choose to hibernate if we're a bear.
Yes.
So we have this God gift to just look at this amazing genius offspring that picked us to show them how the world is and not imprint on them.
Yes.
So if my attention was a hose, would I be watering the weeds or the rose? So if you're going to say anything, my mom, better known as grandma, would say, Tommy, if you got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. Now that would put the $247 billion everything's wrong with the kid industry campaign called Pop a Pill, don't teach them a damn missing life skill, or we'll reprimand you for that. Don't be
Yeah.
creating none of this independent stuff.
Yeah. True.
And
Very
so when you
true.
can flip the script and just say, moms, dads, nobody told you the three options. They gave you two. One kept you ignorant. Parents are running around. I don't know what to do. Or they kept you fearful. That's the formula for a slave. That is a formula to keep somebody dependent.
Mhm.
And just like fire, you need all three elements. You only giving them two. Well, when you add the third, then everything heals as a common side effect, guaranteed. The unity of what it comes from mother to daughter, father to son, to pass on that life skills so they can be independent when they leave out of the nest, like all the animals in the animal kingdom do automatically.
Yeah.
And then there's empowerment. What is it that you want to go do? This is where their vision, because with it, they can prosper. Without the vision, they're perishing.
yeah.
Yes.
And all it is just be able to change your approach, cause you'll create a different effect. So
Yes.
very simple, but you got to be the first in your family lineage to learn the sacred language called learn to speak kid, just like learn to speak Spanish.
Yes. 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 I totally, totally agree. Um, so you've worked with thousands of children and over 300 families who report 78% medication elimination and 90% behavioral transformation. For parents whose children have been diagnosed with ODD, DMDD, or ADHD, what's the connection between how we parent and these diagnoses that most professionals are talking about?
Yeah, and I want to say that the numbers are 90% and 78% because not everybody is 100% coachable when it comes to changing their approach. We find that when the parents do follow the principles of creating champions for life to the letter, they can 100% see a total transformation in the kid. And it's because it's like if there was only a negative and positive energy to exist, I'm going to call the negative energy kind of like a black seed. And even the Bible says you can't pick a thorn from a fig tree or you can't pick a fig from a thorn bush, right? And Kung Fu Panda says you can't get what is an apple from the peach seed?
That's true.
Okay, you can't get an apple from the peach seed. So when we really think about the breakdown of child mental health and all of these mood disorders, it's literally we're taking this little beautiful baby that's born without any idea of how the world works. We're taught to teach them no, to redirect, like I was saying, right? And so it's like right away we're correcting their behavior in the moment with some sort of negative consequence.
Yeah.
And let me ask you, Anne, if we were to follow you around and tell you who to be and how to dress and what time to get up and when to go to bed and when to turn your show off, and we were following you around and managing your entire life all day, how long would it take for you to get upset with me?
Uh, Probably the first time you did it, I'd be upset.
Okay. So now imagine you can't just walk away from me and decide not to have a relationship with this controlling person. Imagine
Yes.
you're stuck here for 18 years with me controlling every move you make and managing everything you do. Then you explode about it. You're like, oh my gosh, when do I get a turn? When can I practice
Yes.
life? What purpose does
Yeah.
my life have? And then we're going, oh, you're not listening to me. Something's wrong with you. We need to go to a doctor. And the doctor is just going, what are the symptoms? Oh, they're exploding every day? Huh. So now this is an effect to a cause, and now we're treating the effect without ever changing the seed from toxic seed to beautiful, godly, loving white seed. And when you have a white
Yes.
seed that sees the 2-year-old, like we have a 2.5-year-old granddaughter, and she's like 5. She's just amazing.
Oh,
There's no terrible twos. Like that's all a
mhm.
myth. These are
I agree.
terrible twos is caused by constantly controlling them. All of the behavior disorders are caused by constantly controlling them. So we see when we start planting white seeds of validation and acceptance and guidance and proactive plans and role play and life skills training,
Mhm.
man, the kids wake up with a new zest for life. They step into their power. They start to like themselves. The mom and child relationship heals and bonds and connects. And now you just live life the godly way with white seed results. It's like
Ah,
it's like we're so focused on the outside, it's never going to
yes.
work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I totally, totally agree with you. I feel like parents see their child as the problem, but they don't look at themselves. Like they almost give up their power. They don't understand the impact that they can make with their kids and how they can nurture the seed, like you said, to amazingness, right? Because every child has the potential for amazingness. Every child.
Every
And
child, every
it's
single child.
every
Yes.
single child has the
Mm-hmm.
power for amazingness. They're born with gifts. We need to look at their gifts, right? Instead of looking at how do we fix them or they're the problem. That whole dialogue that parents have and not really looking at themselves as actually the problem,
Well,
right?
Anne, and I gotta say this as a mother, it's because you can't, like, we only know what we know and you can't know what you don't know. And when you are following everything the professionals are telling you to do,
Yeah.
like I talk to moms every day and I'm like, well, what are the professionals telling you to do? Oh, well, they said that I should spend an extra 15 minutes of total connected time with my child every day. And I've been doing that, but they don't want to hang out with me. Like just the tools that parents have been given. It's kind of like saying, I want to commission you to cut down all the trees of the forest. And here's your dull axe. And you go out and you're chopping and chopping and chopping, and nobody's ever taught you how to sharpen an axe. Actually, nobody's ever told you that there's an actual chainsaw. And when you come back and you're like, I'm chopping and it's so exhausting and I don't know what to do and I've tried everything that you've told me to do and this tree just won't fall down, and I'm like, oh, just be more patient and
Yeah.
consistent and kind and yada yada blah blah blah. It's just
Yeah.
like, no, let's trade in the dull axe for a chainsaw. Let's have some tools that will actually empower a child to step up into their power, because you know what happens when you control, micromanage everything they do? The only thing that they can control is what they put in their body. My child was so picky, won't eat anything. They what comes out of their body. My child was potty trained, but all of a sudden they're not potty trained anymore. They're wetting the bed. And this whole idea of representing, I represent as a cat, or I'm 10 years old and I'm transgender, because you can't control like things that they wear. You can't control who they're going to hang out with the minute they're not with you. You can't control these things. So that's why we're seeing like what kind of weird world are we living in? Well, it's because these little kids are just searching for something they can control. And that's the
Yes.
truth of the actual root to the problems that we're seeing.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also this vision, right? Like having a bigger vision for their kids' lives because they're just looking at moment to moment, like their behavior and
Yeah.
trying to get on top of their behavior, but not looking at their whole lives. How do you foster and nurture and grow this human being to be the best they can be? But you're still stuck on they didn't take out the trash or they're not picking up their dishes. You're so stuck on the now and the things they're not doing that you're missing the vision that you should be having for your kids, right?
That's a very beautiful direction and vision that you have, Anne. Because if I were to ask you, and this is what I asked Bonnie when I first met her, right? Dynamic in every area, but very tough to spin all 12 plates and just keep running around, running around. I mean, you can do it, but what are you going to do when you got to go to sleep? So if I were to ask you, what is your role as a parent? And besides something superficial, knee-jerk reaction, what comes to mind? What's your role there, superstar?
First, first, my job is to love them
Okay.
and to give them the best of me. So they're going to see the best of me, who I am as a person, right? Because you can't give your best to your kids if you're not nurturing yourself, right? Your self-esteem, your dreams, all of that, because now you're a role model for your children. But you also want to give them within the nurturing, safe environment and loving environment of a home, your kids can blossom. But if you don't secure that foundation at home, the love, the support, the nurturing, tell me what you like, the taking their interests, their passions, and supporting them in every way that you can. That's going to grow them in their confidence and everything, listening to them, creating that safe environment, right? It means you need to put away your agenda and you need to look at your child. What are their gifts? What do they want? What can they grow? Like look at those things. Did I pass, Tom?
Well, no, but it all sounds neat. Sounds super fit. It's like, ooh, that table looks neat. Now get over there, and is it sturdy? You start to shake it, and all of a sudden the leg falls off. It's like, well, what did it? It sounds neat. But the point is that when you think about your thumbprint, no two thumbprints match. If it did, it'd probably be in the Guinness Book of World Records. You with me on
Right.
this? Okay.
Yes.
So they have a thumbprint and we have a thumbprint. Parents around the world are taking their thumbprint and telling them how to do it the way they want them to
Yes.
do it. It violates the whole law of God.
Yes.
So if you were to think about this, you understand that one sperm gets in the egg and it sucks to be second. Sorry, doors closed, no more. You understand this, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Only one gets in. And then 9 months later, you actually show up in physical form when we do the ribbon cutting ceremony. You become now independent. You are in physical form. The odds of a winning lotto ticket, 1 out of 1 million, to show up here on Earth and play this 3D world. Are you still with me on this?
I'm with you.
So you're a miracle. Why
Mm-hmm.
would we want to give up that miracle gift to show the world that only I can demonstrate something that the rest of the world could see that's so unique and independent, and just hand it over to, I don't know, and I'm always afraid to do stuff.
Yeah.
And so when we know our role is it's either to prepare the offspring to launch out of the nest, which all the animal kingdom does except for man because we were given free will. But we can't deny we got to protect them. But
Yeah.
why is all parenting all about postponing the inevitable? When we start to see a child misbehave, if we could just listen to the translation, when do I get a turn? I know the
Yeah.
clock is ticking. So, mom, when do I launch? So, what's your answer? Your kids ask you, Mom, when am I done with my Jedi training so I can launch? What's the date? Uh-oh. Did I hear a ribbit? Ribbit?
I
Nothing
I
comes to mind, right?
I say tell me. Like I listen to my kids
Okay,
when they tell me
but
they're
let's pause
ready.
there here real quick because this is what's key. If we had a timeline, you're going to be in the house, we're working together. Every animal does this. The job is to prepare, not do for you and say, look at me.
Yes.
That's why vanity is one of the seven sins. Hint, hint, wink, wink bombs. It's not about you.
Yeah.
When they're ready to get their life skills, then they launch out of the nest. So
Yeah.
we got to start there and reverse engineer of like, well, the only reason you're here is to learn how to play clean sleep with the dish. You use it, that's called play. You wash it in the sink, take a shower, and then dishwasher, then it sleeps in the cupboard. These life cycles that we do for them, we never let them have a chance.
Yeah.
And see, they want to be able to do everything. Have you ever caught your kid getting into something?
Yes.
That's when they're ready to learn, but the adults have been taught no,
They stop it. Yeah.
don't do as I do, but do as I say. And then
Yes.
the other moms on the authoritative side, they spend all this extra money with strings attached. Got a
Yes.
hidden agenda. So I'm
Yeah.
not saying that it's wrong, but it doesn't prepare them to launch. And so if you know your role, prime directive is to prepare them to leave, like all the animals do.
Yes.
Then all these
Yes.
so-called disorders and the deficit of attention to see a little genius just embracing her own uniqueness,
Hmm.
well, flip the battery around, and all of a sudden everything's working the way God intended.
Yes.
And
I
it is
agree with
this
you.
simple.
What I wanted to say, Anne, is when Tom first asked me, I said the exact same thing as you. He's like, "What's your role as a parent?" I'm like, to love them." And then
Yeah.
my subconscious mind went, "No, that's not it. To make them happy and buy them things. No, that's not it.
That's not it. No.
To protect them." And then it's like nothing I could say what is my role as a parent seemed right to me until he gave me the definition, which is to prepare them for the world. And my kids
Yeah.
weren't at all prepared for the world because I was a superhero mom and I did everything for it. I worked really hard to give my kids a life I always dreamed of.
Yeah.
If we
Yeah.
just write down that sentence right there, we can
Yeah.
see something's off the mark. They don't want to live the life I always dreamed of. They don't even want to hear about my dreams. They want to
Yes.
live the life they always dreamed of. And I gotta say, like, if loving our kids was the answer, none of us would experience any issues. We all love our kids. It's like I didn't even know what love was until I met my little genius offspring, and then I love them to death, kind of like I have a dead orchid sitting in the other room. Well, my orchid was so beautiful, and I loved it so much that I watered it to death, and all the leaves fell off, and now it just looks like this pathetic little green stem sitting over there. And that's kind of what we're doing to our kids, I feel like. But we
Yeah.
are not doing it intentionally as parents. And I don't think the industry is doing it intentionally either. But when you learn a new way to get new results, the world might not be ready for it yet. Kind of like when Galileo said, "Hey, we're not the center of the universe, the sun is." And then he was put on house arrest for the rest of his life for sharing the truth. So it was only 1500 years ago we all thought that the earth was flat until we realized that it wasn't. And it's until today that we all thought a child should be corrected in the moment, that it's our job to discipline them with some sort of negative punishment. But right now, right here, let's decide that it's our job to prepare these little genius offspring for the real world. Let's decide to give them many, many opportunities to look at you and say, look what I did all by myself. And let's reframe the whole idea of how annoying it is to let your toddler do up their own seatbelt or put on their own shoes because it takes an extra 5 to 15 minutes. And let's see these little windows as you're actually guiding your little human being that you decided to bring into the world so that
Mhm.
they can live it independently with self-worth without you. And when we make that shift, literally, how the intention that we have will change the actions that we take, will change the feelings we have about being a parent. And that's just the beginning of the shift to empowerment.
Right, right. Okay, okay. I got it. I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you share with our parents where they can find you? I know I when I mentioned links, I meant like where how do they contact you?
They can, that's a great question. Okay, so we have for years and years been giving away free this and free that. But what we found is that's not serving the parents at all because what we teach is so different than what we've known our entire lives that I feel like giving them a little piece and making them feel like this is all I need to transform my life is doing them an injustice. So right now, we have a free podcast. You can go and listen to our podcast all day long for free, no problem. Learn to
Okay,
Speak Kid on podcast on Spotify.
okay.
But if you really grasped what we shared here today, and you're like, "Oh my God, I need to learn this," then you go to the path to parentingparadise.com and you invest $27 in our digital collection, and it will give you all the 12 principles, the mindset paradigm shift, videos on how to teach emotional regulation because that's a big deal right now with all the kids having meltdowns. And
Yeah,
we threw in a bonus, the master plan training collection, which would teach you how to put all the 12 principles into action. So
right.
that's where I strongly suggest people to go.
Wow, that's amazing. Oh, so good, so good. Thank you
Yay.
so much for sharing your expertise and your story about how this transformation really, really works. Thank you
Love
so
it.
much for all that you've shared with us today.
Thank
And
you. Thank you, Anne, for having us. It's been a
okay,
pleasure. Okay.
thank you, parents. Take care.
Bye bye.
Thank you, parents, for joining the show today. If this show blessed you, changed you, or helped you in any way, I would appreciate a Google review or a review on my podcast. And I would love you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Masterful Parenting, so we can get the word out to more parents about relational parenting. Thank you so much, parents, and we will see you next time. Take care, everybody. Thank you, parents, for joining the show today. If this show blessed you, changed you, or helped you in any way, I would appreciate a Google review or a review on my podcast. And I would love you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Masterful Parenting, so we can get the word out to more parents about relational parenting. Thank you so much, parents, and we will see you next time. Take care, everybody.